Today on the Smart But Lazy podcast, we welcome Sebastian. Sebastian, welcome to our podcast. What inspired you to start Speak Up, Express, and what?
Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you for coming. What inspired you to start Speak Up, Express, and what problem were you determined to solve?
Right. So I had started Speak Up Express to solve really the biggest problem in today's world when it comes to entrepreneurship. And it is the problem of how do you establish yourself as someone that people actually want to follow and to work with. Now, the most expensive thing in marketing today is trust. It's connection. People just scroll through your posts, your ads, your everything, right? No one's really engaging anymore the way that they used to because it's a saturated market. It's oversaturated. Everybody is an entrepreneur today, and not everybody's working on the level of purpose and speaking that gets people to actually align with marketing. So the problem that I'm looking to solve is closing the gap between you today and the audience that you need to have tomorrow.
Can you explain what Speak Up Express does in simple terms for someone hearing about it for the first time?
Absolutely. Speak Up Express is designed to help, first off, refine your voice. So we do speaking coaching for those who need it. And secondly, position you on stages, whether they're online or in person. It's designed to make sure that your voice gets heard where it needs to be heard so that you can be where you need to be.
Why is why is speaking up so important in today's workplaces and communities?
Well, from a business perspective, it does three things all at once. It builds trust with your audience, it connects you to them, and it builds authority in your field. Again, three of the most expensive things in marketing. Speaking up, it's even more than just business. It also comes into your mission, your purpose. What it takes to move people today is significantly different than what it took to move people 10, 20 years ago. It's a different world, and you need to be someone who is articulate and can embody a purpose. Speaking up differentiates you from the two classes of entrepreneurs that there are. It's a distinguishing factor. The two types of entrepreneurs are those who are looking to take, who are profit-orientated, and those who are looking to give, provide. Those are purpose-based entrepreneurs, and they're always going to do better than profit-based entrepreneurs.
Was there a personal experience that pushed you to build this business?
Well, for me, it was all the difficulties that I had working on my first business, stocksuni.com. That business had a hard time growing because it was in finance, which is one of the hardest sectors to work in. Now, I spent over $20,000 of my own money getting that business to supposedly start up and grow, and I wasted that money. Not a single client came through. I struggled for a long time trying to get that business to work and to flourish. Never happened. Ads, email bombs, cold calling, everything in the book failed me until, by accident almost, I got invited to speak on a stage and I talked about my business. When I walked off that stage, every single person there, or almost every single person, had booked a call with me or subscribed to my business directly. That was when I realized that the reason why I had wasted so much money trying to get ads to work is because it doesn't connect with anyone. That was my greatest experience that contributed to deciding to solve that problem for other people as well with Speak Up Express.
What makes Speak Up Express different from other platforms or services in this space?
Great question. I always tell my upcoming speakers the same thing. What makes us different from other speaking agencies is culture. Our culture is about deeply caring for each and every one of our speakers, and we push and we launch campaigns for events. We're not focused on getting people booked. We're focused on getting them elevated to higher circles. Now, if you've been doing public speaking for some time, you're probably familiar with what I call to be speaking limbo, which is when you're speaking in the same circle over and over again. You're not really growing. You're not really getting on better stages. You're just stuck in the same level the whole time. Our agency is focused on finding, identifying, and researching what are going to be your dream stages, your dream events, and finding a way to slowly build you up to that point. We're focused on elevation. We launch campaigns for each and every one of these events for our speakers, and we're very insistent to the event organizers. We deeply believe in the passion and projects of our speakers so that we can best preach them. I think Speak Up Express is a strong, passionate agency as opposed to many others.
Who is your ideal customer and what challenges are they usually facing before finding you?
Well, my ideal customer is anybody who has the audacity to want to be a speaker. That's it. I can work with just about anyone as long as they're willing to overcome the limits that get in the way of them speaking and success. Anyone who's going to shy away from that, anyone who's going to say and accept their limits and circumstances and say, I'm just shy, I can't do it, or whatever, I don't want to work with that kind of person. But even if you're shy, you're broke, you're depressed, you're disabled, whatever it may be, if you have the audacity to overcome those things to achieve success, I'll work with you. That's my ideal customer. I work with entrepreneurs, I work with authors, I work with motivational speakers, whatever it may be. And the most common problem that they face is the same problem as every other speaker. It's hard to find events by yourself because it's a numbers game. You have to network on so many different levels at the same time to be able to get anything done in speaking, or get lucky, which is not a reliable plan. My agency is going to do that work of networking for those people who are looking to expand their speaking, networking, business, marketing, whatever it may be. It solves every problem at once.
What has been the biggest misconception people have about your business?
Well, I would say the biggest misconception is that speaking is something that's going to take a while, that it's hard, that improving is very difficult in speaking. It's not. I've seen people who have no experience speaking. As a matter of fact, one of my more recent clients is this lady, a Christian author with the name of Rebecca Gray. And she was not a very good speaker when I met her. She had a very hard time articulating her ideas. It took me about a month and a half to make her an incredible speaker. I mean, today she articulates ideas so well. She's spoken in front of hundreds of people. And this has been only with a few months of coaching and helping and positioning with the agency to better stages. That's it. It's not hard.
What were some of the hardest moments in the early days of building Speak Up Express?
Well, actually, I would say Speak Up Express had almost no difficulty because this was made after my first business. I'm a 23-year-old entrepreneur and public speaker who has spoken nationally and internationally. And what it took me 5 years to accomplish in my first business, which was 5 years of basically no success until the last year because I became a public speaker, I was able to build in less than 6 months with Speak Up Express. Speak Up Express ended up surpassing my first business in no time, right? And it's because I was already prepared. When you have already been through these struggles and obstacles and difficulties before, when you're facing them again, you already know how to deal with them. That's how it felt when I started Speak Up Express. Basically, as soon as I launched, I had people inquiring and wanting to be speakers as a part of the agency. So it was pretty much smooth sailing thanks to all the years I had already done in business. But for you to get to that level, you have to just throw yourself at it, deal with every obstacle, and learn from it.
How did you validate that people actually needed this solution?
Well, mostly because everywhere that I looked, every entrepreneur who was at these networking events, every entrepreneur who was struggling, even other types of people like authors are having a hard time. Everybody in the world is having a difficult time with the same problem. It's marketing. It all comes down to that. It's not what it used to be. Now, all the entrepreneurs that I grew up watching, and I even have some books right here. I got Rich Dad Poor Dad. I have a book from Gary Vee up there. And all of them, all the methods that they use to grow don't work anymore. They don't. They've been oversaturated. They've been overused, and people ignore them. That is why I realized, hey, my gold mine, my breakthrough, the moment that everything changed for me was when I got on stage. I knew that everybody needed to do that to some extent, to some level. It is the way out.
Can you share a real success story or moment where you show your impact clearly?
Yeah, absolutely. On her first stage, and this is the same lady, Rebecca Gray, who had a zero experience as a speaker. On her first stage, she's a Christian author. We had helped her speak at a church with about 100 people or so, nothing too big. She had spoken live at this church. It was her first time really speaking, and I had done some coaching with her the night before. And I said, listen, I don't want you to script anything. We've already been coaching for long enough to the point where you believe these points enough to be able to get on a stage and speak about it from the heart. She got up there, she spoke, and it was mind-blowing. Everybody there was so moved to the point where she had sold, I think, a total of more than 20, 25 books in one sitting. And this is a huge book. It's a $40, 360-page book. And she got, almost half the audience to buy it right then and there. To me, that's success. For a first stage, someone who has no experience speaking, that makes me happy. It makes me believe that what I'm doing is changing lives.
How do you balance technology, trust, and human communication in your business?
It's simple. I love that question, by the way. People have been using AI to replace themselves or their business, right? And AI is a great tool, but it's not supposed to be a replacement. AI, as well as technology, is an amplifier. So within my business, the way that I utilize AI and technology is to empower the agents or my employees that are working in the business to better amplify the voices of our speakers, to better position them, to better network, to better find events. It's a question of efficiency, but we're never replacing the authentic voice. It's like, let me put it this way. We have a gem and we just want as many people to see it as possible, but we're never replacing that gem. The gem are our speakers. And we're only using AI technology to make sure that we're reaching out as much as possible for them.
What skills did you have to learn as a founder that you didn't expect?
Well, again, in Speak Up Express, I had already developed a lot of these skills. But in my first business, StocksUni.com, the main thing that I didn't expect that I would have to really develop was very, very powerful leadership. The things that one person can do by themselves isn't much. I realized that I was going to have to hire people. I was going to have to save my time and focus on the vision and on leading them to believe the vision enough that they would work with enough passion to make it a reality. I don't even know when it happened. It just crept up on me. But at one point, I had 40 employees from having 0 to 40 when things started to get really busy and really crazy. And I realized that these are 40 people that I need to make them believe the same vision that I believe. And I need to make them work at that level. Leadership was one of my biggest changes that I had to develop in my journey as an entrepreneur. And in Speak Up Express, that has really paid off. It has become the single contributing factor to our success.
How has the business evolved since launch?
Well, definitely way more organized than we were at launch. We have a strong database with so many details. Every single event that we've had a speaker go out to, we take notes on everything. contact information, event size, event audience, niche, event manager or organizer, which allows us to send those events out to new speakers. So as we grow, we're not just growing in clients, we're also growing in outreach, connections, and events and stages that we can send them out to. So it's like a snowball effect. The business has become way more organized. It has a lot more outreach. It has a lot more contacts and a much larger database of speakers.
What role does feedback play in growth?
Feedback. Well, I always ask not just my speakers, but also my employees, what can be improved. The other day, for example, we do team meetings very often. I make sure that I'm always there with them. I don't like to ever, no matter how busy I get, I believe that a leader and an entrepreneur especially needs to be there preaching his vision to the people that matter most, which to me is my agents and my employees, which are keeping the vision alive. I don't make any decisions without running it by them first. I let them chime in. I let them talk. I let them see what they believe. It would be stupid of me as a leader to make decisions without them. So for me, feedback is so important. I'll sit down and I'll say, hey, I'm thinking about implementing this change or that change. I want to know what you guys think before I do it, because again, if I'm making a decision that they don't like or they don't see it, they're not going to be aligned with my vision. I never try to impose anything that's going to be inconvenient to them, only things that are going to help them.
How do you create a safe environment for people to truly speak up?
Well, that's going to start off in the early process of speakers that contract me to be their agency. One of the first and foremost important things to me is making sure that they're comfortable with their voice. We start off by doing a lot of intensive coaching where I point out all of their flaws, but most importantly, give them exercises to improve them very quickly. For example, that same lady, Rebecca Gray, she had a very hard time with her and but and I don't know, things like that were killing her speaking. She had bad pacing, bad volume. And so I would sit down with her and I would give her exercises. Listen, I'm going to give you some exercises. I need you to do these here with me together so we can actually improve your speaking. Then one day, when I thought she was ready, I called her to do the coaching, and I turned the camera around, and I had other people there with me that were going to listen to her speak. And it was supposed to be a surprise because I wanted her to have to speak on the spot to prove to her, so she could prove to herself that she could do it. And she killed it. So I built a comfortable environment starting off in our first months of coaching before I launched them out on big stages.
What advice will you give to entrepreneurs building a company?
That are beginning a company, you said?
Yes, entrepreneurs are beginning
Can you repeat the question?
to build a company.
Got you. Yeah, well, my first and foremost advice would be before you focus on building a brand, focus on building a personal brand. Focus on building a name and a mission for your business. If your business is not rooted in purpose, a change that wants to be made in the world, and most importantly, a voice that can articulate it, you're not going to get anywhere. People need to first off know about it, and second off, believe in it. And if you don't have something that is even worth believing in, you're not going to get far. Ask yourself, what is a change that I want this to make in the world? And how am I going to get people to hear about it and believe in it? That's it.
What trends are you seeing around communication, transparency, or workplace culture?
I'm seeing a big shift, big shift. I've been studying this for quite a bit. I've seen a big shift come down to moving away from traditional marketing. People aren't focused so much on just doing ads anymore. If you work with a marketing agency nowadays, they don't just launch ads how they used to. They do a lot of research first just to try to make them effective. I've seen a huge shift away from standard type marketing because it's so oversaturated that people don't even feel it anymore, to something more organic. The world is becoming more centralized. It's becoming a lot more open to organic style content, and most importantly, to things that are focused on providing, right? So marketing, it's more of a give and take nowadays. That's the biggest shift that I've seen is people like to offer things first in exchange. So, hey, if I'm selling, for example, my public speaking, I'll say something like, well, if you want to come on now, I can give you a free coaching class, one-on-one free coaching class for your first time coming to me. So it would be in marketing. Marketing is more focused on organic growth and development.
What's next for Speak Up Express in the next 1 to 3 years?
Well, Speak Up Express is off to a great start. We have a couple of amazing contracts. Our most recent contract is a gentleman by the name of Dr. Philip Mead, who is a NASA speaker. He is backed by NASA. He was hired to speak for NASA after the Columbine explosion, or Columbia rocket explosion, sorry. And he is, incredible. He's looking to get out there now. That's a most recent contract. And my vision is to continue to work with him for the next couple of years. And most importantly, find other people in that network, in that niche to also work with. And from there on out, after those 3 years of building the business some more, finding more contracts, building more connections, I want to start a nonprofit with Speak Up Express, under Speak Up Express. That would be my vision.
If listeners take away one message from Speak Up Express, what do you want it to be?
Whatever you do, you have to have the audacity to speak about it. Have the audacity to speak up, declare whatever it is that your vision is, whatever your goals are, whatever your dream is, out to the universe. Because what that does is it makes the universe return it to you. So speak up. That's it.
Do you want to share any last words with our audience? Thank you for coming, Sebastian. I think you covered everything.
Yeah. I would definitely encourage everyone here or everyone watching this to refine their voice in whatever way they can. And most importantly, find places where you can go out to speak. It can be as simple and free as something like Toastmasters, for example, where you just go out and practice a little bit of public speaking.
Thank you.